the passcodes, open it up so you can get to the camera.
Oh.
Alan, I see Alan Klein. If you're for 167, could you please raise your hand? Okay, I see. You're being promoted. Adam, I think that we're all set.
Are they here?
Yes, Alan Klein.
I don't know if they're on Zoom yet. I don't see
I
them.
see the panelists. They got promoted.
Oh, so they just need to talk.
Yeah, I'm asking them to unmute.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, see you.
Hi. You don't see me?
No.
Let's see. Oh, sorry. Can you see me now?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, you're there.
Nice to meet everybody. As I was saying, I'm a representative of Build Architecture, which is the architect of record of the work that's proposed at 175 West 72nd Street. The proposition is pre-approval through the Community Board 7 of a project that would involve the installation of a handicapped ramp extending from the mid of Capital One Bank to the end of
You're losing your voice. Sarah, we're losing your voice.
Now we lost him.
Yeah, you gotta stay closer to your microphone or whatever.
Okay. Strange. I don't know if I have a microphone increase of the volume audio. Let's see. Audio settings. Okay.
It's if you keep your face where it is now, it's okay.
Okay. How about that? Is it a little bit better?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So as I was saying, I'm a representative of Build Architecture, and we're proposing to install a handicapped ramp at 175 West 72nd Street and a railing to match that would enable access, ADA access for the tenants of the property. We prepared a presentation. I believe that you may have that, illustrating the property as it was originally basically designed for landmarks, as well as for yourselves to visualize what the railing and handicap ramp would involve and look like. Does everybody have a copy of that there?
Oh, no, this is not.
Alan, you're supposed to share your presentation.
Okay.
Can you share screen?
Yep. Let me try that.
Okay, great.
All right. Let's see. We just have to grab the. Let's see if I can get in here. Options file. Sorry about this. I'm just trying to locate it.
I don't know if you we want to wait and go forward with Alessandra. She's on. She's the first item.
Okay. You want to while I pull it up?
Yeah, we could go ahead with the first person. Okay, great.
167.
Yes,
Yeah.
hi, I'm here.
Hello.
I just would like to know, first off, hi, everybody. I have two presentations that I could do. One includes document panels so that you can read along with me. One does not have those pages. Which do you prefer?
Just pictures, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Can you give me a screen share?
You have to screen share.
Anyone could share. It's
Oh,
multiple.
yeah. Oh, okay, great. Thank you.
Yes. All you have to do is share your screen.
Okay.
Are you the architect or the owner?
I am the owner. Okay. It's under video setting, correct?
So on the bottom of your Zoom screen, there's gonna be like an arrow going up, it's green, and it says share screen.
My gosh.
So just make
Thank you.
sure that whatever, like all your windows are closed and you're gonna share the proper
Okay.
item.
So this is the one where I removed.
Yeah, perfect.
Great.
Nope, it's not the one that I removed. Well, I'll just
It's okay.
skip by those pages very quickly. Okay, it's good for me to read it anyway. Hi, my name is Alessandra. I'm here representing 167 West 72nd Street. This is located on the West 72nd on the Upper West Side Historic District. It's on the north side of the street, very close to the corner. So I'm here to propose, I would like to propose to Landmark that we legalize the windows that we currently have. We currently have on the 6 windows on the 3rd, 4th, and 5th floor, 2 windows each, 1/1 double hung windows. They were installed approximately within the last 10 years. However, they were installed without a permit. When I went to rectify this issue with Landmark, came to find that they wanted initially the windows to have 9/1. With a little bit of research, we found out that may not be necessary for a couple of key reasons. Initially, for one thing, the building was originally constructed as neo-Grec, which neo-Grec designations do not require 9/1 windows. If a neo-Grec building can have 1/1 double hung windows. That's good news for me. The thing is that there was an historic alteration at the turn of the century, and at that time it underwent something that would have made it close to a 20th century renovation. And that is part of what makes them want to have 9/1 windows. And then I'll take you to another slide. Well, no, never mind. At the time of the building's designation in the early 1990s, you can see that the 5th floor already has 1/1 windows. And for the past 8 years, the facade has looked the way it looks currently. So here, this is a current view. It's kind of hard to see. We've got a great, beautiful tree in front of the building that almost always has leaves. This is the location. Here you can see that when you go on Landmark, it still says Neo-Grec as its designation. They say it's not really anymore, but for some reason, Landmark also maintains it being Neo-Grec in its documentations. Here you can see when it was first had its tax photos taken, it did have the 9/1 windows, even though it had already undergone the alteration. And then here you can see in the designation photo in 1990, it on the top floor, it's the lighter building. It's the one with the general vision sign down below. The top floor already has 1/1 double hung windows. And this is what it looks. Yes?
Floor below that, does it also have 1/1? I
No,
can't.
it has the.
It
The
has.
floor below. It's very hard to see because the windows are open. I'm not going to pretend. I think it does have 9/1. It's very hard to see, but I'm not going to try to misrepresent things. But
It's a screen.
excuse me?
Yeah, sorry.
That's okay. But I think because of screens and because of glare, it's very hard to see the window muntins, which is another reason I'm hoping it's okay to not replace these windows. That it is in fact very hard to tell whether or not there are window muntins there, because this is what the building looks like most of the time. So from street view, it is very hard to tell. I actually initially was working with Landmark to install window muntins and for the past year, and eventually they said, thank you. Why don't we try to just legalize your windows? Kind of wish we had started there, but that's fine. Here we are now. Another reason I'm hoping that we will be allowed to legalize the windows is precedent of the neighborhood. So on this block, there is a very wide variety of architectural designations, especially immediately next to, it's not part of a row. It does not match its neighbors. In fact, it doesn't even match much of the block. To the south side is, let's see here, I've got to the west is Beaux-Art, to the east is Neo-Grec, which, as you remember, Neo-Grec would not have needed 9/1. 1/1 would have been great. So it would actually be in line with the building next to it. Further east is Art Deco, which does not require, and more Neo-Grec and modern. On the other side of the street is Neo-Renaissance and Romanesque Revival, again, neither of which require 9/1. Art Deco and modern are conditional. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. And that's also in the neighborhood. And I couldn't get anyone to tell me about Flemish, which is also across the street. So the plus side is that out of 56 buildings on the block, only 6 of them are classified by Landmark as early 20th century commercial, which is what they are claiming would require this building to have 9/1 windows. So that is less than 10% of the architecture on that block. So I do not believe that it would do anything to diminish the architectural integrity of this block for this building to not have 9/1 window muntins. And let's see here. So here you can see this is the western view. That is the, let's see, that's the Beaux-Art next door to the west. This is the Neo-Grec to the east, which currently has 9/9. And this is further east where you start to be able to see the modern and more Neo-Grec that do not, that have 1/1. And then this is the view across the street. Basically, you can just see that there is no conformity, that it is not part of a row. And it does seem to be that if we were able to legalize the current 1/1 windows, it would be appropriate for the streetscape. Thank you very much, and happy to take any questions.
Alessandra,
Yeah, just ask the question, Gene.
in June, we approved this already, but for the 9/9, so it went to landmarks. What happened between then and now that you're back again?
They changed their mind.
In what way?
So I had come up with configurations to do 9/1, and they asked me not to bother presenting because there is another element of the, let me make sure I'm getting the language right. The wood that holds the frame of the window in the building has, if it is a 20th century, instead of having a flat panel, it's a little rounded. And so they suggested that everything that we had come up with in order to put muntins in would be irrelevant because God, can someone help me with this word? It's going to drive me crazy. Brick mold, because this has aluminum brick mold with a hard edge to it. They asked me to find a aluminum brick mold that would be rounded. And for a few months, it was near impossible. And eventually they said, okay, never mind. Why don't we just try to legalize it? And I was happy with that. So here we are.
Here we are where?
That I'm trying to just legalize what we have instead of making aesthetic changes.
Right. So we're looking at this as if she'd come to us and said, hey, I want 1/1 windows.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be grand?
Any other questions for her before we discuss page?
I'm just curious, above the Cohen's signage, are you going to be doing restoration of the, initially it would have been a string of narrow operable windows as well as the 1/1? Or are you gonna be fixing those windows?
The question is, are you doing anything on the second floor? I think the answer is no.
No, there is no, and there is no landmark violation about the appearance of the second floor windows.
No, I'm not saying that there is, but wouldn't that be nice to make that?
I think yes, but it's not part of the application. So any other questions for the,
Is anybody in the
Applicant?
audience here about that? About that building? No.
I have my
Um,
hand up as well. Adam and Madge, I have my hand up as well.
oh, sorry, I didn't even
We
see you.
didn't see you.
Welcome.
Been here the whole time.
Hi,
Hi,
Claire.
Claire.
Hi.
Their pictures enough. What
So,
about say?
Well, I'm just slightly following up on what Madge said. This was sounding very, very familiar. And when I looked on what we were sent earlier this week, I thought that was consistent with all the help that we had provided Alessandra the last time, which was don't try to have muntins inside and outside, but see if you can just do them outside. And we thought we were sending her off to victory and hoped we
So
were
did
sending-
I. I was very, very confident when I had your support that the end was near, but it unfortunately was not.
And then LPC did one better for you and gave you an even easier victory, it sounds like, which is why you're now
In theory, yeah. I had
now
to
here to legalize the 1/1. Yeah.
Yeah, I did spend the past year trying to meet the other requirements before they finally came back to this. So if this can go through, this would be the easiest solution. Absolutely. I was committed to them that I was like, I will do what I can to match the appearance that you are looking for with these windows that we have. And ultimately, maybe that's why they're now saying it's okay. I don't know. Not that they're saying it's okay, but they are suggesting we do this instead. But yes, we had a nice long evening.
did.
I was the only person, and you all agreed that it was a very strange predicament that they had an issue with because nobody could even see the windows. But anyway, but I do appreciate your support then, and hopefully have it now.
Well, the presentation would have been a little more easy to get into, I think, with the sense of deja vu that we, at least I and Madge had about this, if you had sort of reminded us of that history. But
Yeah,
anyway,
I didn't want
you
to
are
take
where
for
you are.
granted that we were memorable, I suppose.
Right.
And-
I have no problem with this.
Thank you.
Okay, any question for the applicant?
Yes, will there be through window air conditioners?
So so what we are proposing is that nothing changes about the appearance of this building that you see right now. That is what I am aiming to legalize.
But no master plan for air conditioners, nothing?
No, 'cause she's
There's
trying to
some
just
there.
legalize the air conditioners
No, I
that are already there.
understand
yeah.
that, but in doing that, you kill two birds with one stone. Never mind.
I only have one bird though. Landmark is giving you one bird, which is
Alright.
And once,
the window muntins.
Okay, I'm gonna suggest we move to discussion. It seems like based on what LPC is proposing that I have no problem with this. It seems like this is acceptable. Is there anyone who wants to reject the legalization of the existing conditions?
No, I'm fine with it.
I'm up for it.
I'm not okay because it's,
Should be 9/1.
this is a place where you can revert to what was originally there.
Yeah.
Okay, so just to be, I understand that from an aesthetic perspective.
already been-
We said that she's worked very hard with LPC to come up with something.
I understand that.
So we want to come back. Your suggestion is that CB7 suggests that they should continue working on this rather than legalize the existing.
I think so. I mean, that's, these buildings flip one way to the other. And it would be nice to see some original,
But isn't that going around in a
Demonstration.
circle?
what?
Isn't that going around in a circle? Because then Landmark's already said she should do this. I don't even know why it's come back
I
to
don't
us,
think
frankly.
Landmark said anything yet. They're waiting for this
Well, that's what she said.
concurrence
Would,
to take place.
On the staff
Excuse
level.
me,
would you like to see the email from Landmark as
What
telling
did-
me to start over with legalization?
No, I'm just trying to get the facts. I'm new to this project and I'm just curious about it, that's all.
So
Because we work with, we work with people to help them restore the actual appearance, not something
That's
more
close to
modern, shall we say.
Klari, what's your thought?
She said she had no problem with
You're okay with
Okay, I
that?
think I actually already concluded my prior remarks by
Okay.
saying I have no problem with this. I would love to have seen the 9/1, but given that the Landmarks Preservation Commission has told Alessandra to switch her application and seems to be receptive and just waiting for us to say yes. It's not ideal, but that's what the current application is, and LPC seems to want to see it that way. So I'm in favor of a resolution that would approve as presented.
So how would people feel, understanding that we have two folks who are less than enthused, but this is how things go.
Right.
How do people feel about a resolution saying that we support the legalization, but that is grounded in part by the work the applicant did to try to come up with a prior resolution, and that we're conscious of that may not have necessarily accepted it on first pass? Is that help
that's-
anything at all or
Too many
unnecessary?
words.
It's
No, too many.
Okay.
And-
Unnecessary.
and the first part,
Yeah,
that
then-
didn't make-
resolution
that
to
didn't make
approve.
sense.
Then I'm gonna put forward that we have a resolution to legalize the existing conditions.
But please note in that because one day things are gonna change again, we would like to go on record that the upper two floors should be the
Original.
window pane that went originally with the building.
So perhaps we can do like in the whereas, we can say efforts were made, and we can say whereas if the windows are ever to be replaced, we would recommend replacing with the
And that
901.
is,
But that said, we accept this. Okay, I'm
May
gonna
I-
put forward
That's a bit murky.
It's
that's
kind of what-
actually
I
what
know.
the agreement with Landmark is that it is legalizing these windows, but the designation remains that anytime these windows are operated on, they will need to be returned to 9/1. It's just that these are relatively 10 years, they still have about 5 years on them. And but it will eventually have 9/1. It's just legalizing this work that was already done.
Adam, I think the way you've suggested it makes sense.
All right, so let's just, for the sake of time, let's vote all in favor. Klari, I assume
Yeah.
your hand is, okay.
My hand is up.
You
There it
already-
Opposed?
You know what you're writing.
Okay, so then it's gonna pass 4-2. Thank you for coming this evening.
Thank you so much.
Do you have
Who's the two? Excuse
Who
me,
are the two?
Oh,
Yeah.
you're against it.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Okay.
do you have a date when you're going before LPC, just so for tracking on our end, or no?
Yes, I have, well, first I go before the full board on March 4th, and then Landmark on March 11th.
Okay, yeah, perfect. We will not need we do not need you unless you want to come on March 4th. We generally don't have people speak, so, okay, excellent. Let's move on to 175.
I'm sorry, but Adam, who was the second no on this?
Me.
Michele.
Oh, Michele. Okay, just didn't get
That's
that.
So to clarify, I do not need to return to another board meeting. I can just go straight to Landmark.
We will vote on it on March 4th, and we will transmit that vote to LPC for the following Tuesday. And they will have it in time for your time when you're speaking. So yes, you are all set with Community Board 7.
You're
Okay,
all-
thank you so
all-
much, everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Have a good night.
Good night.
Maybe we should get the text from that other part of her agreement with landmarks to put in to
The,
your resolution. So you don't have to
can
reinvent
ask
the
her.
wheel.
Good idea.
To read it.
Would,
Oh,
so I haven't left yet. Is there something that I can provide
The
No.
email, right, from
from Landmark?
LPC? That you
Yes.
offered,
Yeah.
or
That
yeah,
would be good
if
if
we
you
could
could
have
read
that.
that.
That would
Yes.
be great.
Who shall I, where shall I send it?
Just-
I can either just share it now so you can see it.
just
Or
send
I
it
can
to
forward it.
Jessie.
Yeah, send it to
Yes?
Jessie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thanks.
I will do that. All right. Thank you so much. Anything else?
Nope, you're all set. Thank you.
Thank you
We'll
so much.
move back to
Good night, everyone.
Night.
Thanks, good night.
Good night.
we'll move back to 175 West 72nd. Alan, if you're, I think it was Alan. if
Yes.
you're
Yeah.
here.
Okay, does everybody see the presentation?
No,
Not
try sharing it again.
Okay. How about now?
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay. So what we have here is the original view of 175 West 72nd Street to the left, a contemporary view of 175 to the right. And our proposition is that we would like to install a handicapped ramp. This is directly adjacent to the building that you had in discussions, starting at the Capital One Bank and extending all the way through the entrance of the building and then beyond to the dorm. So here is the depicted illustration of what the change would look like. With railings. Rail. Everybody can see that clearly?
Straightforward.
Right.
And you're gonna tell us about materials and so forth?
Can I just
Would-
ask?
It would
We
be,
go through and then do questions.
Okay,
it would be comparable in terms of construction and appearance to the facade railings above on the windows, mimicking the middle filigree work. And the ramp is quite considerably long, but it's due to the fact that you require a 1 foot run for every inch of elevation. So there's some significant elevation there to get into the building. Of course, there's a egress stairs in front of the dorm. And going down, you could see the plan of the front of the building here, the plan of the dorm, and the extension onto the Capital One Bank where it ends at this point to the left. Okay. Mechanical drawing of what the railing looks like constructed. A section of the railing and how it's designed and built. It's going to be provided in a black gloss powder coat finish. We're going to attempt to mimic the stonework here on the facade base of the building, along the ramp facade. And basically that would be it. This is a look of the entrance doors, similar filigree in the doors, try to match everything. So that's concluding our presentation. Does anybody have any questions?
You said that was stone, the facade of it, the front of the ramp is stone, like the base of the building stone?
Correct.
Yeah, it's not something to look like stone, it is stone.
Right. It would be actually a granite. This granite and this granite would appear the same. This would be a sample granite here. This would be representative of the color of the railings.
can I ask
Yeah.
a question? The new railing that goes in,
Yeah.
is it, continuously, you would come out of the building, through those, doors, and then you would walk, to, I guess, back, into the, because I don't understand how the, swing of the, cast iron fencing, it's a long way to go to get in and out of your building.
There's
Right.
a staircase on the other side that's short.
Right,
Yes,
the
but-
staircase would be on this side to the right.
Right.
That
So,
would be in front of the dorm. So the doors on the building swing in.
yeah,
The doors on the
Swing-
dorm swing out, but they don't obstruct the railing nor the egress stairs directly in front. Step on at the landing here.
so you lost me. Okay, so we have one set of a landing with the major, I guess, hall in the middle, right? Sorry.
Right, the entrance to the building, yes, here.
Right, okay, great. That looks perfect. And
Right.
it swings in the right direction, et cetera, or maybe both directions because of people carrying packages in and out of the building. You might want to consider that.
Yeah, that wouldn't be a possible consideration because it would block the egress area here. The doors can't swing both ways. They have to swing only one way in.
Okay,
As they do
good
already.
to know. All right.
Right,
and
right now, there's a set of steps incidentally at this point here. So those steps are basically, you're coming down the steps. We're going to be building up the ramp so that there's a level grade of the ramp here directly in front of the building. And it would level off to this point where the stairs would go out. So this would be all a single grade. Where now it's
So
a
you-
step over here.
So across the entire of the building,
Right,
it will be one level, and then you would ramp off on the two ends, is that it?
well, one end would be a set of steps. You step up in front of the dorm at this point
Okay.
here. The other,
That makes better
Right.
sense. Okay, thank
Right.
you. Okay.
sure.
Klari, do you have any questions before we go to public testimony?
Absolutely, I do. I thought this was a very skimpy presentation and not very persuasive. Can we see again the current condition?
Sure.
And do you have any historical? There's no historic photos here at all.
The building itself is over here. This is what. the
Yeah, well,
building
that
looks like
doesn't
here.
show us close up enough up to see anything about the entrance.
Mhm.
Um, It's a very, well, as I said, very skimpy. But so is that the best we have to show the current condition?
This would be the tax photo as it was originally built in, I believe, 1902.
Right, but we have nothing closer. Can you then show your next slide, please, again?
Sure.
The following slide?
Yeah.
I don't mean that one, I guess, whatever comes next. I'm trying to see if there's
Okay.
anything
Sure.
that, okay, existing facade
Right.
and capital one, okay. This is my extrapolation from what you've done, but is the purpose of this to make a grade level entrance to the building, it's to the residents of the building? Is that what this is about?
Correct. Exactly. And make it
By
handicap accessible.
eliminating the steps and creating a ramp so that if people leave the building going to their right or left, they would go down along, have no choice but to go down a long ramp. If they're
Right.
leaving the building to their left, our right,
Mhm.
they would be on that ramp for a bit and then have a set of stairs in front of the.
Correct.
Okay.
Right.
How much sidewalk? What is the depth of the sidewalk and of the ramp and of the sidewalk, the public sidewalk that would be lost for this ramp?
I believe that it would be 3'6", almost 4 foot projection at beyond.
Mm-hmm. What is the dorm? I pass it from time to time and have never understood what it is.
I believe that it's for challenged youth that have psychological issues. And initially, the application was precipitated by the dorm, which is regulated by state agencies, and they insisted that the dorm would make it handicapped accessible. Thus, over time, the tenants of the building, some of the handicapped or elderly tenants in the building, made the same demand, and that precipitated the development of these plans.
Mm-hmm. Have you had any input yet from LPC staff on this?
Not yet. of course, the process, as you probably know, is that we first present it to you. We
Sure.
have some more elaborate plans, architectural plans that would detail what I'm describing here in the presentation visually, that give you more dimensions and code issues that they normally are interested in, including the types of details of the handrails, the height of the handrails, which you could see further down in the presentation, you see. So these are the types of issues that they're interested in. I apologize for not greater clarity in these details, but I thought that for the purposes of our presentation, that the concept and the appearance of what we're presenting, you'd be able to easily see with the proposed elevation and drawings. So you have. Yeah.
I appreciate that. In the future, if you come back to us, we'd like to see everything that you're going to bring before LPC. However, in the case of this application, I do think we have enough information, but just if you come back before us, we want to see everything that LPC sees. Appreciate you thinking about this, just for future reference.
Oh, understood. And
Paige,
footnote, I was actually intending to bring the plans and all of the presentation in person, but unfortunately I'm not feeling well. So I thought rather than, skip the meeting, we would present this. And then if you have any further questions, we could send you a set of plans if you like.
Yeah, appreciate that. Paige, it sounds like you have a question.
A few.
Yeah.
The way the existing ramp, that the proposed one, shows the railing continuous all the way. It seems that it covers the doorways within the confines of the length of the iron railing. So I'm a little concerned about how to manage that, because that means in order to get to this window, to this door, you have to go all the way around. So I would.
Or you can take the stairs on the east side.
Yes, but if you
Just to
have
come from the other way.
packages and things like that, and a bank, it's cumbersome to do that.
Yeah,
So,
That's all
it's not,
prescribed.
sorry?
that's
That's all prescribed.
That's
It's not an
how-
inch for every
yeah,
foot.
this is
I mean,
how the
it's
code
for every
works.
inch.
Yes, but there's no way for somebody to escape out of the main doorway without running gauntlet of either a very long fenced-in area or one that goes in front of another store. So I think the applicant is very close to how to do this, but I'm concerned that it's fencing in people, and also for people, because this is they sell clothing
so
in the bank.
Paige, let me make a suggestion. It
Yes.
sounds like we don't have more questions for the applicant. Why don't we hear from the public and let's see what the public's concerns are, and
Yes,
then
but
we can
there's-
have our
There's
discussion.
two other ones, because the issue is, if you look at the slope, it will create a very difficult handicapped way to go the long distance every time somebody wants to come in and out. That's all I'm just bringing up ideas to make it easier for the person who's visiting and going into the shops. That's all.
So
Paige, what's the alternative?
well, let's have that
I
discussion
think
after.
it has to be broken into pieces.
Okay.
So that you have a
Let's
gate.
have that discussion after. I'd like to move now to hear from the public. So if folks want to come
Just go in
and
order.
introduce yourself. If you stand here, it's easier. And what we're gonna ask is try to be as brief as possible, and then just say your name and I don't know.
Hi,
Yeah.
my name's Kira Egan. I've lived at this building for 42 years. I can tell you for a fact that the old facade did not fit at all. This facade is much more fitting. The dorm is not a retail establishment. It is not open to the public. It does need to be accessible for the handicapped.
Okay.
The reason for the ramp being this long is because if it weren't, the incline would not be safe for people who need to use the ramp. There's no access to the bank that will be blocked off at all.
Do you live in the building?
I live in the building and have for 42 years.
Wow.
Thank you.
I can tell you for a fact, I mean, honestly, if I looked through, I could find you photos, but that on entryway is so much better looking, and it would still be better looking and more usable for not only handicapped people, but also the many mothers and fathers who have to pull their strollers up a very steep little set of stairs, and it's not safe. All of us will be disabled at some point. All of us will probably need mobility aids. There is no reason that a slight change will make anybody's lives worse. And for people who are delivering, not having to lug
Listed on the meeting or?
up those stairs
All right.
is going
Why you're on there with them now?
Yep.
Oh, please.
A little loud, and I'll just shut it off.
Okay.
Alan, you gotta mute yourself.
And
Sorry.
again, I just want to reiterate, the dorm is not open to the public. It is an intensive outpatient program, which caters to young adults. The people who are coming there are only buzzed in, and there is no issue with interest into the entrance into the bank.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Someone else?
Okay. My name is Shelby Grayson, and I represent the tenants of 170 West 73rd Street. And this is a picture of what went on there. I don't know if you want to help. Now, I tried to get a ramp and a lift on the 73rd Street side. These are actually twin buildings that were originally one building with one address. And so it is possible to go from the 73rd Street side through the basement and come up on the 72nd. They have a flat lobby. We don't. We have steps that go up to the lobby. So I have been doing this for almost 3 years now. And it's very important to me before I get to the point where, like Ralph, I can't get up and down these stairs. This looks good. I have a question for Alan. I'm wondering why the turning radius coming out of the door wouldn't allow for the exit to the left with the stairs to be shorter.
That's based upon the building code.
All right, I can't, all right, it seems when I did this floor plan, I had the stairs coming down without going into the other entrance.
Oh, but
thing there.
it makes the dorm accessible too. If you have the
Right.
stairs come down before you can't get into the dorm. This way both get accessible entrances.
It allows for
Okay.
Yeah.
ADA accessibility for both buildings,
Yeah,
both entrances.
so this for me, I know that people at on the 72nd Street side have wanted this also for years and years. But for us, it's even more important because this is like we have 4 steps inside and then we have 2 steps outside. And I had a double knee replacement and I'm sitting there in my walker hailing people in the street who thought I was asking for money because I couldn't get up the stairs and take the walker at the same time. So it's very important to us.
Excellent. Thank
One
you.
question, on the inside, you said there are 4 steps to navigate as well.
Yeah.
She
Okay.
wouldn't have to use the
You
steps
wouldn't
anymore.
have, I just wanted to make sure that
Yeah.
at least one building was completely
Yeah.
ADA accessible. Thank you.
Anyone else want to speak on this item?
Thank you.
Hi there.
Hello.
My name is Victoria. I've lived at 175 West 72nd Street for about.
Hey, guys, Paige,
Wonderful.
we got to do one at a time.
Move up.
Come closer, please.
Thank you. Hi there. My name is Victoria Ungversky. I've lived at 175 West 72nd Street for 7.5 years. It's my favorite place I've ever lived. Everyone is really wonderful. And it is truly a pain to climb up and down those stairs. And I see so many of my wonderful neighbors really struggling. And I don't know a single person in our building who wasn't really excited by the idea of there being an opportunity to make it easier for families, for older people, for people who with accessibility issues, and honestly, anybody lugging a really heavy suitcase. It just makes life better, and we're all a very weird, tight-knit group of people in that building. But we all just we all wanted to take care of each other, and that's why there are so many of us here tonight, because it means a lot to us to be able to make our building more accessible.
You mentioned that on the interior, you have a ramp that or steps.
No, the steps are on the 73rd Street side, which is our sister building. If you would just go up on that ramp there, it is all flat all the way through to every other elevator.
Perfect.
So it's all on that, yeah.
Excellent.
Anyone else?
Sure.
Anyone here?
I told them we were a tight knit group. Other people have also
If you would say,
spoken
yeah.
of Chanel and some.
Yeah.
Do you sing in harmony or?
We're working on it next time.
Hi, I'm Isabel Fatal. I'm one of the newer members of this tight-knit group. I moved in about 7 months ago, but feel like I've been living here for 7.5 years because as my roommate noted, it's a wonderful group of people. And yeah, I just want to reiterate the fact that everyone we've spoken to is so excited about all the new possibilities for parents, for older people. And yeah, even to the good point Kira raised about packages and deliveries, I see those struggles every day, and without someone to, help everyone coming in and out, it's really not feasible right now. So yeah, just reiterating the points that my wonderful neighbors have made so far. And thanks all for having us to.
Thank you.
Sarah.
Can I ask one other question? Because of the length of the railing that goes along the front of the building, are there gates so that it makes it easier for people to access? I guess it's a retail store.
Again, it's not a retail store.
Those are just windows.
Oh, just windows.
There's
So
no access.
That's a
Yeah.
bank.
Yeah.
There is no entrance.
Okay.
The entrance would be past the ramp that they are recommending.
But
Okay.
it's all the way on the other.
Yeah, no, there's 2 entrances, and the entrances, there's several banks of windows,
Mhm.
and then there's an entrance.
Excellent.
Yeah, so
Okay.
it doesn't block any doorway.
Yeah.
You'll just walk up alongside the Capitol one.
Perfect.
Anyone over here want to come testify?
Big chance.
There's no need.
No
We're not
pressure.
bullying anyone, but if you want to come say something quickly, feel free.
Hi, this is E. I have been living in the building for 35 years.
Mm.
And we lived at 1710 West 73rd Street, which we have 6 steps, even worse. They have 2 steps, and that side we have 6 steps. My husband, a couple months ago, he had a fracture in his hip. He had to lie down in the bed for 1 month, and sometimes he want to go out, but he can't because I cannot help him out because 6 steps impossible to. That's why it's like we feel like stuck there, home. It's not right. It's and people getting older and older. So sure, it's someday I'm 60 years old. So eventually I'm gonna get old too. So everybody feel the pain.
Yeah, of course, of course. Thank you.
Thanks.
Hi, my name is William Scott. I live in the 17. Do I have to go?
No, you can just stand close to the table near either of these weird looking gray things will be fine.
What I wanted to say is I agree with everything everyone said. Not only is it a boon for older people, but for the younger families that have strollers. I see mothers. I pick up the bottom of the stroller and help them up the stairs. We have to help each other out of the building because we do have 6 steps on that side. And they refuse to allow us to modernize that side because of the historical nature of the building. I think this design is great. I think it really does not take anything away from the building. I think that the architect was very, very good about replicating certain details that are on the building. I wish if they do our side, that it would be as this. Would that be done? It would be because, I wanted to answer, I'm sorry, I don't know your name, but I wanted to just say to you, when you were talking about lugging groceries back and walking the extra length with the ramp and everything You have to walk that distance anyway, and believe me, if you're using a cane and carrying groceries, if you're on a walker and carrying groceries, you're not gonna be going any further. It's not gonna be any harder for anyone looking at that. And I've lived in the building 50 years.
You went?
And I'm in the building 82 years.
Oh, I'm sorry, you went.
I'm only 58 years.
Wow.
My 7 is so pathetic.
Don't get me started.
Excellent.
We started at your age, and the people who lived in the building then were from the 1920s.
When it was
So
new.
we've seen the history of the building go along. And believe me, when I moved into that building, the year I moved in, 1975, there were 4 muggings and 2 rapes in the lobby because the doors had closed. So it's come a long way. And I'm surprised it was not in as nice a condition as it is now when we moved in, because the west side had been abandoned. The woodwork was rotting, the floors were rotting. This was a luxury building. When I stripped the paint off the window frames, my windows are 7 feet tall, and the window frames are 11 feet tall. And when I stripped the paint off in one room, as the last thing came off, there was marquetry on the woodwork. They had painted it to look like it was inlaid wood around the frame of the window. The stair railings are mahogany and cast bronze, so it's a really good building. Very solid, and it was very popular because it's a fireproof building. It was built in a time where the walls were really thick, and so fires were contained to one apartment only, which has made it really hard for the landlord to repair plumbing and electricity.
We know.
Thank you.
And you got the worst of it on that side.
We sure did. It's a beautiful building, but a river runs through it. I swear. Yeah.
Anybody else?
Anyone else want to
Oh,
add
Julia.
anything?
Yeah, I'm Jane Wilkins. I've been in the building for 58 years. Shelby wins, she was born here. I just want to add my voice. I had my knee replaced recently. And I couldn't go down till I could call somebody and say, can you help me with the walker? And I used to imagine I was going to be strong. You can't do it. And as you see, as we're all here, we're all friends. You help each other. And we can call our neighbors. Sometimes our neighbors aren't home. And you got a doctor's appointment, you're stuck. And I can't tell you how many times we've helped through the years athletes who break their knees and their ankles. You can't get in and out of the building any other way. So, thank you. You did the right thing.
I think we're
And I
against it,
don't see
right?
anybody here saying don't do it.
Yeah, I don't think we're against it.
Sometimes my voice is as a restoration architect, I just want to make sure that we're not removing incredible details
Yeah.
and making it
Yeah.
harder.
I'm all for all sides being heard.
I think we've got,
And I
hold
think
on.
you've got a winner. I think
Let's,
you have a winner.
Paige,
Yeah.
let's let our last person have an opportunity to speak.
Hi, my name is Julie Waldo. I've been in the building 7.5 years. Yeah, I would like to echo what all of my other fellow tenants have said. I think this is a great idea. I really don't think it will take anything away from, the architectural facade. I'm somebody who, does deeply care about preservation and, tracks it closely. That's something that I'm interested in, something my whole immediate family is interested in. And I have no issue at all with adding a ramp. I think it will, add a lot of value to everybody's lives. And, like everybody else here has said, I, many times have helped people, with strollers, with carts come up and down the stairs, and I'm very happy to do it, but I worry about times when other people aren't around and able to help. And so I think, the other thing that worries me is when it rains or snows, those stairs can get really slippery, and they could be a falling hazard. So I definitely, appreciate and approve of having a ramp to make that easier and lower the risk of slips and trips. for everybody. So, yeah, thank you all for listening to this. And, yeah, I love this community and I just want to make the building easier for everybody who's.
I have one question. I just wanted to say one.
Do you mind if we just hear from this gentleman who hasn't had a chance to speak yet? Yeah, please.
Just, have we totally given up on making interest on the egress on the 73rd side? Is it not gonna happen?
This is not, we only see what comes before us.
Right.
So that would be up to,
Keep pushing.
yeah, you
Yeah,
should,
that's right.
I,
You have a
yeah.
plan.
So, hi, just one more thing, if that's okay. I'm all for maintaining aesthetics and like I said, the current facade is much better than it was 30, 40 years ago. But I will also say, I don't think there's any reason for, I struggle to see the reason to put, or I struggle to see putting aesthetics above quality of life for the majority of the tenants. That's it.
Yeah.
And it sounds like we have one last thing.
To
Yeah.
the historical architect that spoke before.
There are lots of us who do historic
Well, you know what?
preservation, you know.
Where were you when they took down the goddamn copper frieze around the 10th floor of the building? The
They sold it
decorated
all.
that was about 6 feet tall and embossed and engraved. It was really elaborate, and they took it and sold it for the copper.
Awesome. Okay.
Thank
Sounds
you.
like we've heard from everyone who wants to speak. So on this, is there anyone who has a problem with what's proposed, would like to make recommendations for how it should change? Or are folks mostly excited and good with this project? Klari, we'll start with you on
Yeah,
Zoom.
I have my hand up and I actually have one more question. I don't know if it's in any way dispositive, but I'm confused. Is this a co-op or a rental building?
It's a rental building.
Okay, yeah, all right. So the applicant is the owner of the building, the
Yes.
landlord, is that right? Yeah. I am troubled by it, Adam and Madge, because I live on 72nd Street. I walk that block a lot. It's not my block, but this is a slippery slope kind of situation in my view. I'm not aware of any, I mean, there may be some, but I'm not aware of any ramp that long that takes up, that causes the public to lose so much of a very heavily trafficked sidewalk on a commercial street, because the street is essentially commercial with some residential buildings on it. I don't have I'm not troubled by the design, which looks, I think in the slide that's on the screen right now, on Ellen's screen, it's hard to know that that's granite down there as opposed to concrete as the knee wall or but in any event, I take his word that it is granite. But it is, I think, a troublesome, fairly major incursion into the 72nd Street streetscape there, with real impacts on pedestrians, of whom there are many, many. Nevertheless, I think that the practical reasons to do this have been persuasively made, and I am reluctantly going to vote yes.
Anyone else have questions? I would say this is a good precedent and we should see more projects like this that make sure our neighborhood is more accessible. Anyone else have anything to say? Otherwise, I would propose, yeah.
I just, I understand what Klari was saying. It's a very wide sidewalk, which gives me heart. It's nearly 20 feet wide, and this would take up a little bit, maybe 4 feet of it. So I'm okay, and I love the design, I think, and I love the purpose behind the design.
So I'm going to suggest we put forward a resolution to approve as proposed, as presented.
Right.
All in favor? Klari, you're going to have to
Yeah,
tell
my
us.
hand, I see, I've left my hand up anyway, my virtual hand. Yeah, I'll vote yes.
Opposed? Abstaining? one abstention and cause. Okay, so then it passes 5-0-1-0.
Who abstained? Who abstained?
Me.
Paige did.
Paige, okay, just wondered, thank you.
And then Alan, if you're still there, do you have a date when you're going before LPC?
Now that we've gotten beyond this point, we'll move immediately towards giving them the final plans and schedule a presentation and the final plans.
Okay, just for your records,
Yeah.
we will be voting on this on March 4th. So
Right.
I would recommend March 11th would be a great time for you to go before LPC if they're amenable to that.
Great. Thank you for the input.
Thank you very much.
Klari, I agree with you. It's a significantly large slope, and it does take up quite a bit of space, but there are 16-foot passable feet, as was noted. So it's a compromise for the accessibility for many people in the building. You could see from all of the participation that they're very anxious to have this.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that
you.
the steps into this building may have, the current, original and current steps, which are the same, I think, may have been a bit higher than on some other buildings, that accounts for the legal requirement that it be so long.
Exactly. And not only that, but the steps are, dangerous when slippery. And on the other side of the building, as they had noticed, the steps are even higher and are more of an obstacle to create something like this. We've come across that before, but that's for a later date.
Right.
Okay. Excellent.
Thank you.
New business. The only things that I want to say are that next week we'll be hearing from the Metropolitan Museum of Art about the proposed addition or new building that they're building on the southwest corner.
Joint meeting
with Parks. And that I am working on trying to get someone to come talk to us about the Faith-Based Affordable Housing Act, which would help religious institutions figure out how to get funding and build housing, which is something that on the Upper West Side, we have a number of religious institutions that would benefit potentially from a program like that. So I'm still trying to figure out when someone from Bricks and Mortals can come, but hopefully that will be, depending on what the agenda looks like in March, either in March or in April. Any other, okay? Yeah.
Go ahead, and then I have a little.
Oh, I
bit of
just
good
wanted
news.
to, a little note about my little landmark. I wanted to invite you guys to a program on the architecture and history of St. Paul and St. Andrew. And y'all welcome as well. Sure.
And
Yeah,
Michele?
I was at a lecture at the Historical Society last night. It was a lecture about Flacco, that owl.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of discussion about bird-proof glass. And as you recall, we heard an application by the Metropolitan Museum of Art when they replaced that glass on 79th Street. They said, well, some guy from some organization that counts the birds that die in New York City when they run into the glass. Yeah, he said that glass has reduced the killings by 90%.
Hurrah.
Yeah, and I believe all buildings that change their glass have to now install bird-proofing glass.
Excellent.
They had to do that in the Javits Center also, which, yeah. Yeah. So that's the good news.
Motion to